you filled my heart with joy. Was I blind to the truth? Just there to feel the space, 'cause now you have no interest in anything that I have to say. I've allowed you to make me feel. I feel so dumb. What kind of fool am I? You so easily set me aside. You made a fool of me. Tell me why. You made a fool of me. Made a fool of me. Tell me why. I feel like such a fool. You made a fool of me. A fool of me. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Welcome back, or, whatever it's been, a week, 5 days, something like that. Was it Tuesday night? So it's Tuesday night. This is Sunday night. May the 4th be with you, so on and so forth. Basically, I just feel like a punk if we don't finish the season. Like, if we can't, talk about this Pacer series, really, what are we doing? But I don't really feel like talking about this. Kendrick,
I
how'd
thought
you...
we were putting this on. I thought we were putting this on. This is my victory lap tour, right? I picked Pacers in 6 for all the reasons that played out. I thought that's why we were doing it. It's okay. Y'all were trying to be optimistic. I get it. I don't think any of us were really, really full. Y'all were trying to be optimistic. I just wasn't trying to get hurt.
So maybe we'll start this way. The Pacers won today. This is my stubbornness. Maybe I don't think the Pacers are that good. They beat the Cavs.
No.
I'm willing to change my opinion if they beat the Cavs. But
The Cavs' other guard wasn't playing. Did you see that though?
what,
Yeah,
Garland?
Garland was out. Yeah.
Garland was, yeah. Because I was like, "What's going on here?" And I watched the game and not knocking the Pacers in this game. At least they took it at the end. Like it wasn't like given to them. They went and took it. However, Garland was out, so
Yeah,
I don't
they
know
came
what
out
his.
just on fire. They couldn't miss, it seemed, from three. It was incredible that first half. So,
Whole game one at home against the number 1 seed, so
Yeah.
that's not nothing to thumb your nose at.
I think they're a good team. I'm not gonna.
They're a good
I mean,
team.
it's their second year in a row. So I think they're a good team.
Yeah, I'm actually fighting. Go ahead.
We'll see if they can get past Cleveland. That'll be the truth. That's a big test, I think. Kenny Atkinson, I think, is a good coach. I think that he'll figure it out. They're not going to be that hot from three for the whole series. They still got to win for 3 more games. So I think it's going to be tough. This first game, it was good for them to come out and get them. I mean, that's great from a Pacers point of view, but I think Cleveland will sell it.
So maybe to start this, and we can blow right past this, but I put up 5 simultaneous Twitter polls. My engagement is still turned way down, but just as a frame, again, I appreciate you guys in general, but I appreciate you guys because I just couldn't possibly summarize this and don't want to, and I'm still really, really mad, right? But just questions for all of you. The greatest of all time, Buck, Kendrick, and Jay, is now still Giannis, still Kareem.
Yes.
Which one?
Oh, pick one?
Which one?
Oh, I think for longevity's sake, it's Giannis.
I think everything considered, it's still Giannis. And any way you want to slice it, I wasn't alive during the Kareem years. However, I watched some of those older games. Kareem didn't seem like you really wanted to be in Milwaukee, which you can't say, at least for Giannis, for a majority of it. So by default, in my head, that will break any tiebreaker because I think everything else is very close and you can pick one way or the other. But in the end, Giannis didn't pump fake on the "I want to be out of town" stuff. He got asked out next month, and it wouldn't matter to me at this point. Like he did more than his due diligence staying in a small market when everyone only wants to ever talk about him wanting to leave, even though he's never said anything like that. So greatest Buck all time for me is still going to be Giannis. That doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about him in this podcast if I've given an inch or two to say why we're losing.
Oh, you got all the inches, feet, and yards. It's not really about him. I think the answer is now clearly Kareem. Like it's not. I don't think maybe you would. I don't.
Why
think
do you say that?
Because there's no argument anymore that they're on the same tier. Like there's no argument.
They are on the same tier, but I mean, why are you saying that Kareem is better than Giannis?
So let's say
as a Milwaukee Buck.
Let's say Donald Driver won a title with the Packers, which he did, and he played all this time, and he was just so good. He was like Donald Driver. He was never hurt. He was likable. He did all these Donald Driver things. But 20 years before that, we had Jerry Rice. Like Jerry Rice and Donald Driver are not on the same tier of player. It's kind of like the argument that I had kind of previously about how Reggie White isn't the greatest Packer, but you could argue he's the greatest defensive player. So it's kind of a weird thing. Kareem is top 3. Some would say top 2. Giannis is.
I guess I'm comparing this, looking at this differently. I'm thinking of only their Buck career.
No,
Are you talking about
100%,
Kareem's career?
I'm talking about it any kind of way because if you're in a barbershop, you're going to talk about it 5 different ways, which is why people just yell past each other, which is what's so fun about it. But I just think at some point when you have someone who is you answered. I think the answer is clearly Kareem. 3 straight first round losses touches him a little bit. Kendrick, the person you hated most this year, Kuzma, Doc Rivers, Brooke Lopez, Portis's drug dealer, or anybody else you want to say.
On the Bucks, the person that annoyed me.
Or in your personal life, I guess. But who'd you hate?
We'll stick with the Bucks. I love my boy. I would say, that's.
The option. Say the option. It's Kuzma.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of different people all of a sudden. Yeah,
anybody on the Bucks, but Kuzma Doc.
You said anybody on the Bucks.
Kuzma Doc Lopez was the real.
Oh, that was the question. Okay, so I would say Doc.
Or still Middleton for the first half, if you like. He would say Doc.
Yeah. Somebody put some bad juju on Kuzma with a monkey paw. I ain't never seen nothing like this ever in the history of basketball. He looked as if he was convulsing in all 4 different directions with all his limbs. And I know I was like, okay, is it Kuzma's fault that he literally he played so bad he made other people afraid to play basketball too? You can see how much he affected the team with how badly he was playing. I didn't think that was humanly possible.
I never had much faith in Kuzma, so Kuzma didn't let me down. I had no confidence in him whatsoever.
Well, Doc did.
I didn't think he was going to regress so dramatically. Not at all.
He did.
But he has always been a spaz to me. I'm surprised he's paid as much as he's paid. That just, to me, he's a minimum contract. He's a minimum utility vet. I'm surprised he's in the $18 million a year category.
So I would have to pick Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers.
Oh, that's your answer.
Doc Rivers was mine. Yeah, that was mine too.
When you start pointing at people, I'm not gonna pick Lopez. Why am I not gonna pick Lopez? Because he's old and he can only do what he can do. You know who puts him in the game? The coach puts him in the game. Kuzma. I wasn't in their internal talks, but you know what I've been saying since we traded for him. He'll be fine if we use him for defense. We don't need him shooting. But what do we use him for? And if he's not being told to do that, I'm not there for him to be told, hey, your job is just move with the ball and then shuttle pass it out to the corner at best. But then pass. That's not on the coach.
Doc's lineup.
I think all of us at a certain point was like, yo, he is right now actively a cancer for everything. And you have to pull him. Like I haven't said the words Nick Anderson in my house in 2 decades. And he just looked, it was like he was having a mental breakdown on the court.
Who was the second baseman who got the yips and couldn't make the throws to first anymore? It was like, this is but yeah, it was like he had the yips.
Exactly.
Like Barkley's golf swing.
No, because that was never good, right? But it's like it's like that kind of thing.
Right.
Doc with those lineups completely going away from what he played in the last 5-7 games to what was making him struggle and look so stuck in the mud for 90% of the year, it just was unforgivable. Like, how do you roll out this lineup when that's not what you've been doing? To me, that's what got us so far behind. Never got adjusted. Never could figure it out because we were already losing. We were already down, what, 3 games before he decided not to. When did Dame get hurt?
He got hurt in game 4, right? We lost the first, won the next one. They won the next one.
He came back
Dame
for 3.
goes out. Right. And then it was
and he was 3 for 16 or something like that, but he made kind of a shot at the end. They lost that one. Then he got hurt at the beginning of the next one. Right.
Yeah, no, it's the coach.
Just playing Lopez, Prince, and Kuzma. Like, what are you doing here? You have no dynamic energy out there. You just got role players.
But
that was just unforgivable.
Starting the game with Lopez even if you got a good team in there, you're going to be down somewhere between 10 and 18 by the time you got a lineup that wasn't just like could easily be picked apart. And all you need to know about any of this is, like, I already said it before we went to the playoffs. Dame is washed.
Yep.
He showed a little bit of pride, so I'm not trying to like knock him back, but like, and that was before the injury. And you know how you know this with all conclusive evidence? I think the most he had in the game was like 14, right? And Porter had that in 1 quarter in one of the games, which meant he should have been in there the whole time. Like, Porter had his like rough early game stuff, but once again, that was with us messing with the lineup. You know Dame is going to pull you out. You think everyone thinks differently. He was like, I got to get my shot up, and you know,
he never gave them time to get their rhythm. They should have been the standard, and everybody else should have just fit in. You know, don't rush Dame back. Dame can come in and just fit in, but you can't because the dude's making $50 million a year. You know, so.
Well, that's the problem, and that's why you need to really man up and like say, I know I'm gonna get fired. If you want to win, it can't be both because we both. If we know this, how does he not know this?
I mean,
right?
I'm not a head coach, so he's done it before. He's won before. I don't know why he played those guys.
You don't ruffle any feathers, but if it's about getting your next job, it's not about winning. Right?
So my vindication on that point, it feels like Brooke just because you can't blame Brooke for subbing himself in. So it is Doc Rivers. The final answer is Doc Rivers.
Yes.
So this becomes the minutia where I want to talk about the little thing I feel like I'm right about. Right. Game 4 and 5, Brooke Lopez moved forward against penetrators and started blocking everybody's shot. And I was furious that he hadn't been doing this all year. Like he was like gambling against the Bucks all year where it's just like, go ahead and make contact. Like you see Steven Adams now. I mean, it's a different thing, but it's like, hey, I'm here to be a wall. I can't move and they got to hide me. But I'm here for even Draymond to be scared of me, sort of. And I'm here to just level people and just be like a Terminator. And so again, that's a small thing. I don't want to get caught in that. As Kendrick runs to get a beer, Jay, the frustration with Kuzma is like I'm blaming Kuzma, right? First of all, he wasn't that bad. He was just about the same as he was all year, but it's just he's a little bit worse. He's a little bit worse.
He was worse.
He was a lot worse.
But he was
literally.
But he was
He was a lot worse. He was a lot worse.
He was opened the Bombay doors and just let all the air out the building, and everyone could feel it. Everyone could feel it, man. Basketball, I don't care what anyone says. It's about momentum. That's why
Yep.
certain players, like, they
Yep.
might only have 8 points, but they're huge points because they score to answer your score when the fans were about to get back into it. Like,
Right.
it makes a difference. So when you go in there and you make 4 bad plays after Giannis just sat and he's already thinking about he's not thinking about resting. He's thinking about getting up and having to play again because he knows this lead vanished in seconds. And it's on some dumb stuff too, man. Like,
I guess, and
Giannis,
this feels like the Drew Holiday conversation. When you watch it, there's no reason he missed those layups. And so, because I do believe, and I've always believed that it's hard to play with Giannis. I mean, it's not hard to play with him in some random night against like the Pelicans, but it's hard on balance. And obviously, because I'm so thrilled and remain so thrilled that we traded Chris, it's like I want to give him some grace. But like the thing didn't work. Like we were more athletic, we were competing, and the same thing happened with Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. When it was working 20 games ago, I was like, why does he always shoot on the way down, going to the hoop? Like he really does wait to the last second, like he's Michael Jordan to like shoot these shots, and it's like weird. And he had that buzzer beater doing the same thing, and then that immediately like stopped working in the postseason.
Definitely.
But
Crib
Go ahead.
wants to get in.
oh, okay.
Crib wants to get in.
Who said we'd get swept? Look at this.
It was close.
Capital,
It was close.
Capital One.
Bucks
Looking.
in 6, and then we lost game 1. He said the Bucks would get swept. Him change the narrative. Don't buy into that.
That's what happens when you're a hater. People just remember that you hated, but don't remember the details. Really, it's just like
Oh, he changed it the right way. I was too pissed to call him out on the text message at the time when he did it. But yeah, I was too mad about the game to say nothing. But like, here's the thing: the coach is at fault. The most competitive game we had, we won game 3. I didn't get to watch that live. I only got to watch that on highlights. But I assume that game also wasn't like competitive. I just assume that what's his name? Not Porter, our other guard, Gary Trent just got super hot and that just ended it.
Yeah.
But if you watch the most competitive game was game 5 with Dame out.
Yeah.
Like that was the most competitive game. We were in that. I mean, it went to overtime and we should have won it. However, it was a game. Like all the series could have looked like that. And maybe we steal more when you're in that position. But you sat everybody who should have been playing the whole time and you only did what you were supposed to do in a NCAA March Madness format where you have to win each game now because you waited so long. And that's what we've been doing for years. I was really hoping the coaching would fix this, but we act like we're going to win until we're down in a point where it's almost impossible to win. We've been doing that.
hmm?
The question I have is, do you keep Doc, or did you talk about this last podcast? I didn't hear it. Do you keep Doc or do you fire him? Do you have 5 ex-coaches on payroll?
If we can get Denver's coach,
How do you know that he's any good?
because he is.
Dude, he's only been good since Jokic.
I mean, why do we think he got fired? He got fired. Well, I personally believe, I don't know nothing, but
The reporting is him and the GM absolutely became unprofessional and wouldn't speak to each other. Just a non-workable situation. Do you want a guy in the front office that's going to act like that?
if he's about winning, I don't care who you get along with. This is a Jordan philosophy. I'll punch you in the chin if I think it means you're gonna win game 6.
So let's
Bobby Portis mentality.
So Crib, we started at 9:25. We were ending at 10:25. We were starting Andor talk at 10:05. We'll let Crib get his whatever take off. We didn't really say nothing yet that you wouldn't expect.
Crib, you're on mute. Who's the most disappointment yet you have? Kuzma, Lopez, or Doc? Who are you most disappointed in?
You can pick anybody from the Bucks organization. Who's the most disappointing
This season?
person to point a finger at? Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody
I'm not disappointed
you?
with anybody.
You're happy, completely content with the season?
Hater stuff right now, man.
That they're in Cancun right now and Greece?
They weren't. Indiana's good.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana's the Eastern Conference Finals.
So good. We beat them all season.
It's the regular season. Nobody cares about the regular season.
Some players
Like
do,
I'm not mad
actually,
about. I'm not mad at. The only thing that I'm probably upset about is Giannis won't win an MVP, and he should.
No,
That's true.
those days are over.
Is this
Yeah.
the part where I can unload on Giannis for a little bit?
Those days have
Of
been
course,
over.
of course.
All right. I'll try to keep this ramble for at least 4 minutes. You can be the best player on the team and still be the reason why you're not winning. Why? Because you're the only one who has the capacity to win, right? If Jordan scores 40, averages 40, and then all of a sudden gets 30 but can't get 40, no one's going to point a finger at Bill Cartwright, right? Because he can't do what Jordan can do. Giannis didn't show up enough. He was still doing the lazy, not boxing out, getting his active hands on balls, still acting like it's the regular season until late. And if you really want to call it what it was, he was given enough support to win all these games. Gary Trent had 2 30-point games. How many has Middleton have? I know we looked this up before. That's probably, if you looked at against all of Middleton's games across all his playoff professional career, he's probably only got 2 games like that throughout all the time.
In regulation. Well, let's look it up while you talk.
Under that game, 3 guys, 2 guys on 3 performances did enough if Giannis is there doing enough. So, and we won 1 game with that. That is
What is Giannis average?
30.
Almost 30, 12, and 8. I'm
What
gonna
do you want from the guy?
I'm gonna let him rant, but I 1000% disagree.
100%, billion% disagree.
Who cares about how many points you score? Kobe scored 60-something in his final game. Why?
You cannot say that and then bring up the points of the people you said are supporting him. You can't say who cares how much he scores if you're going to bring up what Gary Trent scored.
Gary Trent scored 30.
What people score and do on the court matters. And you can't just have 2 people doing everything and the rest of the team doing nothing.
What's our team supposed to be built around? Winning by points or winning by defense?
Winning by
Defense.
points. Because nobody cares if you
It's not defense.
you got to win by points.
Right. They have structured this team. And we've been saying we need a second fiddle. That's what everyone will say. Well, no one's supporting him. These guys got 30. They got 30 in these games. Bobby played his butt off.
And hardly no one else scored more than 12.
They didn't lose because their offense was bad.
Exactly.
They lost because they couldn't stop
anybody.
anybody.
They come out slow, get outscored in the first quarter.
Thank you.
And then they would trade
swim
buckets
uphill.
for the rest of the game.
Yes. And hope they get lucky at the end of the
Then the
third,
last
beginning of
game
the fourth quarter.
that got eliminated, all the new players were in the game finally, and none of them understood the principle of ball security.
But that goes with Giannis, too. Giannis airballed multiple shots.
Dude, you are stretching hard to blame this on Giannis.
Giannis aired multiple times for 4 minutes.
He's the best player.
He had 1 to win it. And what did he do? He shot
a good shot.
Hey, we ain't never seen him shoot before.
No, he shot that plenty of times. That's a good shot.
So let me interrupt for just 2 seconds and say I threw together a little intro for this conversation, and just screwing around, I juxtaposed Giannis. This one looked way better, but him tricking that shot with it. There's a shot that they give him with a second left in Nets Game 7. And he hits. It's the most comical shot you ever seen. It's the same shoulder. It's the same corner of the court. He turns, and there's a second left, and he hits like the shot clock, almost above the shot clock. And it's the craziest thing you've got. Like I completely blotted it out because I felt like I was having an aneurysm during that game. But so you'll look for that. Continue.
The shot you're talking about, Crib, it's a pass to the low post, where he then dribbles 3 times and then does a turn and fade. This was a Kobe-esque, I'm dribbling straight forward into the spin. Anyone should know.
And it wasn't a bad shot.
If you've got the ball and it's tied, you don't shoot with 1 second left. You start making your motion at 7 so that you can shoot within the next 4 seconds and have a secondary chance at it where they can't get up the court. That's the way you play that. He tried to play hero ball with zeros on the clock. And he dribbled and then faded and missed. He shouldn't have been shooting that shot. However, they normally give it to the star.
He shouldn't have been shooting that shot.
I'm a billion% all right with that shot.
Huh?
I'm a billion% all right with that shot.
You talking about in regulation?
Yeah,
right?
we're all right with
you're
it.
on
But
the-
again,
you're on
back to these again. You know who made that shot? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, and you know who never makes that shot is Giannis. Like again, ultimately, it becomes a binary kind of thing. It's just like, well,
When did
we
Kareem
lost,
make that shot? How old was Kareem when he made that shot?
when has Giannis ever made that shot?
He's 30.
Oh my goodness!
Like
Okay.
like you guys, like even Jordan's game winners came later in his career. Like these
No.
guys,
No,
his greatest shot was his last finals. The shot against Cleveland was in the playoffs, second round of the playoffs.
bro.
Yeah, go
Bro.
back, look, tell me the years.
Okay,
First
in
round.
1988, first round Cleveland. The one in game 2 after he missed the one against the Lakers was 1991. Like, there were a million shots, dude. There were a million shots the entire
He's got,
time.
as great as Jordan is, game winners in the playoffs.
He's got multiple
he's
shots against the
probably
Hawks
got
in the same
5.
spot. Dude, all
He's
right.
probably got 5 game winners
Aren't you here? Aren't you
in
here
the
to
playoffs.
aren't you here to be right tonight? Clearly you're here to be right tonight. Like, right, like we all believed in the Bucks and you called
Totally
the Bucks.
all right with that shot. I'm totally all right with him taking that shot at 30 years old.
I'm fine with it,
Early
but
in
it
his
didn't go
career,
in. So
he's
what do you
got-
want me to say? You don't get to be as great. Like, if it doesn't go in, like, it's again, like, he threw the pass for the end zone, but it was an interception. It wasn't a touchdown. If it had been a touchdown, it'd have been great. But in the game, we all would have ran, and it would have been awesome. Then we had the next game at home. Maybe we win that. Maybe we lose in game 7. But he missed it, right? And then it went through.
They weren't the better team.
Gary
They
Trent.
weren't.
Gary Trent. Gary Trent.
What about Gary Trent? He can't catch.
That's what we're gonna focus on with Gary Trent. Not somebody who wasn't even starting, who lit us up. He did enough to already have won that game. I ain't never seen someone catch fire. Ray Allen, any Buck I've never seen catch fire like he did in two different games.
All
He
right.
did enough to win it and lose it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not all on him. That's not all on him.
And
We are out of that game. Look, we were up what, 12?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just messing with you.
they didn't lose the series because of the offense. They didn't lose it because guys didn't show up. They lost it because they didn't play defense.
All I'm saying is, if M. Night Shyamalan made a movie about they had Gary Trent's family, and they were like, "You're going to turn the ball over," it would have looked exactly like that. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. That, like, you've never seen that, and people don't care about the Bucks anymore. If he did that for the Lakers or something, they'd be talking about that for 100 years.
Yeah.
But everybody just wants, but they just got on with the Giannis is going to leave thing. So real quick, just a fun one.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
Giannis had a chance to guard Halliburton straight up, and he couldn't do it either.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead, because I forgot to say that.
We keep trying to just pass off the buck because he did a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm telling you, the little stuff he didn't do. That's the problem. He's the only one who can. Why? Because Lopez is old and slow, and you couldn't keep him on the court. Bobby can't jump anymore, so he can't box out. We put in Jericho, and like literally, I don't know who's at the wheel at that thing, but like he doesn't know how to set a screen.
Why is Giannis guarding a guard?
He is bigger, taller. He's supposed to be faster and longer. That's why you do that at the end. If you want the onus on yourself as a defender, as a former,
who was on the court?
You man up and say, "I'm not going to let you score here." He got cooked.
Right.
Of course he got cooked. He's not guarding someone. He's not faster than Halliburton.
He's 7 feet tall.
He's 7 feet tall.
He's
no help and had
he's
no help
not as
going
quick
to the
a
basket.
foot as a guard, and that's a shifty dude.
Yeah, they had no help at the basket.
No,
none.
No, he should have stopped that. He should have stopped.
There should have been help at the basket.
Oh my goodness!
Anybody who was on him, it's a game-winning point.
Giannis is a good defender. Is Giannis a good defender?
Oh, it's good.
Giannis is a good defender, but Giannis is not a guard stopper.
Is Giannis a good defender?
Is he a good defender?
Yes.
Is he a good defender?
Yes.
He's allegedly a great defender.
He is the best defender on our team.
Oh boy! All right, man. I'm going to let you
best
finish out your
best defender on the team.
Kendrick, I know that you disagree with this. Like, again,
by position.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He is tall.
AJ Green.
Let me ask you a different. Let me phrase
AJ Green.
AJ Green.
Okay. Green's a great defender.
Drew Holiday isn't here. We could argue this. a couple of years ago when Drew Holiday was here and Giannis was 2 years younger, which is why his value was never appreciated because the Middleton cult had to make everything about the Middleton Giannis love affair. But if we had Drew Holiday would have been guarding him. And just because Jimmy Butler made himself a Hall of Famer, as we look back on it, Jimmy Butler just is a Hall of Famer. And so, yeah. But yeah, I feel like
and Indiana might be an Eastern Conference champion this year.
It's one play. It's one play.
Who's the best play
for your season?
It's one play.
You're bigger, you're taller, you're faster. Let me tell you who I wouldn't want. If I had to try to score that bucket, I wouldn't want Giannis on me. Give me somebody else. I can't shoot over the top of him. He can make up the ground and play over the top. Like, that's what he should be able to do.
But he went to his right. Giannis let him go to his strong hand. Yep. And then sort of Porter looked like he was going to come over. I just watched it a second ago. But
no one helped him. They had no big on the court.
The game was disgusting, man.
Suck it up.
Giannis should not have been guarded. So you go back to what everybody was upset about losing Drew, just like whoever just said it. His defense on the smaller guys, Drew could guard your shooting guard, and he could probably guard your 3 decently. He could guard 1 through 3. Giannis can't. Giannis can guard a 3, maybe, and a 4.
We don't actually know what he can and can't do and what he's willing to do because we've put him in the superstar category of, hey, why don't you just relax all season and don't get used to doing this, where he used to be our workhorse and be like the buck stops with me. I'm going to be in the way.
He played more minutes this year than any other season.
What are you talking about?
Did he?
He's playing defense though.
Doc ran he played more minutes this season than any other season. Doc plays his stars 30 plus minutes. I mean, he was playing 28, 25 minutes under Bud.
Excuse me if I don't believe you after the Michael Jordan didn't hit any game winners take. I'm gonna.
He hit like 5 in the playoffs.
Also, he is like, if you're going in and saying, I just need to stay between my man and the basket for all season, that's not actually playing defense.
Yeah.
And as we got cooked by multiple teams for 130, 140 points during the regular season, those are minutes on your feet, but you're only playing offense and then scrolling side to side slightly.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Defense is a mindset. When you decide to play defense,
we didn't have it in the regular season. That's my whole point. You can't show up to the playoffs and all of a sudden be like, we about defense. That's not how this works.
So he preached it all season. He preached it all season about the team not playing defense.
But right, you know what's so embarrassing though? The actual criticism, which is what I was going to say however many podcasts ago, but I think we all generally agree with this. Giannis' dominant regular season game should actually be way more in variance, where it's like, because you can't officiate him the same way 7 games. And it's the Shaq thing, although that's a little overblown. But like, that's the thing, right? So like, we said this 10 years. Some games he's going to get those calls, and some games like Bucks fans will be mad. But he's creating contact every single play. And sometime in the regular season, like he goes left, but yells and still gets the call. But like over 7 games, you're not going to get that any of the road games. And the officiating was horrible in this series. Just really sketchy. But like, we were so bad, and we've been so bad the last 3 years that it hasn't even come up. That like, oh, by the way, you know, one game they may not get him all these calls, and he may not get all the block charges and be in trouble. And I think he's improving as a player, but how great are you? Like, how great are you if you lose in the first round 3 straight years? And I know he's been hurt some of those, but just collectively, all of us. I would like
to know how many game winners Jordan has made. Give me your guess. How many game winners has Jordan made?
He made 2 against the Utah Jazz, bro.
Just give me a number total career.
Career?
How many game winners?
Constituting as a game.
22.
What's a game winner?
What's 22? A game winner? Because him.
They get the ball back and shoot again and don't make it. Is that a game winner?
Right, because in Utah in '98 isn't a game winner, but it's a game winner, right?
Right, exactly. Is it me scoring and then all of a sudden that ties in? We go into overtime and win. Then is that a game winner?
Also, are we counting the bullets where he had at least another one? I don't know, Crib, 15.
We got 22 and 15. Jay?
You can't tell me what a game winner is. I don't even know what I'm
I said
classifying.
buzzer beater. I told you that. Beat the buzzer.
Wait. Is your take right now that Michael Jordan wasn't a very clutch player? Like, we wouldn't be doing
He's
this
the
Larry
most
Bird or
clutch
anybody
player.
else.
I'm saying he's
Larry
the most
Bird made a lot of clutch
player.
shots. Dirk Nowitzki made a lot of
He's
clutch
the
shots.
most clutch player ever.
Joe
he
Johnson
hit
made a lot
9
of
game winners. 9.
That's
9.
That's a lot.
You guys act
That's
like
a
you
lot.
guys said 15 and 22. It's a lot. It's the most ever. So I'm saying, like, you're not in positions to hit game winners often.
So 2 of them were against Cleveland. He eliminated Cleveland in '93 when they got Gerald Wilkins to stop him. He eliminated them over Elo.
First round or second round, right? I can't remember.
So that's 2. I think one was to go into the third round, or one was he beat Cleveland Cavaliers twice with game winners in the playoffs, which is also back to the old conversation why Lillard is in the 75, because people remember you like waving goodbye to a team. Oh, like Halliburton did to Giannis. But anyway, like what are the game winners? If you have it in front of you, what are the game winners? One was against the Hawks. Steve Smith is there. There was one where Richard Jefferson does the thing. There's one on Brian Russell in game one. In game 1 against 97. There's one where there's one against the Bucks that probably isn't a game winner, but was a game winner.
This one says his first one was May 7th, 1989 versus Cleveland. His last one was January 31st, 2002 versus Cleveland. His first and last were against Cleveland. Go ahead shots. He shot 44.4%.
This is a crazy digression, bro. Of course,
Truly.
The second dude behind him, Kobe and Joe Johnson. So you guys act like this dude missed a game winner and it wasn't in the world. Giannis also, just to put it on the record,
dude,
played 34 minutes a game this year versus 35 last year versus 32 the year before, 32 and 33.
What's the point you're making?
I'm just saying, like,
for crying out loud.
the guy played all season long. He played more minutes all season long. He did talk about defense
Last year, though.
Huh?
You just said he played less than the previous year. That's the stats you just read.
35 and 34 this year. But my point is, under Doc runs his guys harder than Bud did. So Giannis plays more minutes under Doc than he did under Bud. He talked all season about playing defense. So it's not like he expected to just turn it on in the playoffs. He didn't.
But he did. He complained about it all season long. Like, you can't be like, well, they played a lot of minutes and they were playing defense. My point is, they weren't playing defense. That's why we lost so many.
As a team, they did not play defense. That's correct.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you're thinking on this team as a defensive stopper. When I'm saying your best defensive player is AJ Green.
Who's the leader of the Bucks?
Giannis.
John Horst, the owners.
Okay, this
GM. I don't know. I mean, on the court, it's Giannis.
Who's the leader of Bulls? Jerry Krause or Michael Jordan?
Yeah,
Phil
Krause.
Jackson.
Krause
Phil
pretty
Jackson
much.
was the alpha. Let's be honest.
Oh my goodness.
Also, yeah. Okay, you're jogging my memory.
We're all over the place. Let's get back to
There's a play. I don't remember exactly which game. I feel like it was the last game where Giannis goes to the floor, and he goes to the floor with one of the Pacers bigs, and they're both on the ground. The Pacers big gets up before him. Giannis tries to trip him with his legs rather than get up. The other Pacer gets up past the leg trip, gets in position, and then Giannis starts to get up there. It's the same play where Giannis gets his hand caught in the rim. That's an effort play. The other guy beat you up because he wanted it more. That's what it takes. Simple as that. It's those small plays. That's why we keep losing to the Pacers. Because you know what they're not going to do? Take a play off. Think it's okay not to box out. Think it's okay not to be in position. And it will wind you down over 4 quarters every time.
That's true. 100%.
In fuego if you're not going to do the small things.
You know what I've been.
I mean, that's why that's 100% why they can't beat Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just Giannis. It's every dude on the team who doesn't do the small things. Yep. There's not one guy on that team that you look at and be like, "Oh, that guy hustles like what's the kid that plays for Indiana with the comes off the bench that Giannis got into at the end. They all grabbed the back of his head.
They all got the same.
Matherin.
That dude, yeah, and the other kid, Naismith or whatever. Like, there's just dudes.
I can't get Naismith and Neiman Hart down for the state of my life, man.
Nemhart's the light skin with the cornrows,
Naismith.
and Neesmith is the dark skinned dude with the cornrows.
Yeah.
And
Neesmith
those
is
dudes are
more of a
energy the
mouth
whole
breather.
game.
Mhm.
And that other stupid white, I hate, what's his face? The other TJ McConnell. I hate that guy.
I
Someone should
like
put an
TJ
elbow to his
McConnell.
brain every time.
I wish we had a TJ McConnell.
Well, you
They're
think they
just
think
they're
they
just
do in
younger
AJ.
and faster than we are. They're
That's
just fast, younger and faster. I mean, they just
Yeah.
dominated us
And they
on the
beat the
energy.
snot out of the Cavs today too. So I
So-
mean, they're just good.
So-
So back at Doc, this is when we played our lineup that does the same thing, and like the game just looked. Game 5 looked.
We're
completely
still
different.
slower.
They
We're
don't
still slower.
have that
We're
lineup.
slower.
That lineup
I'm not
doesn't
saying we're not
exist.
slower, but it was competitive when we had Green
Oh
in
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
With all of our guys that we knew could do that. Like we knew going into the series. That's why I wasn't picking the Bucks. So I'm like, you're gonna have to make some tough calls and not put Dame in there because he can't work like these dudes.
I just
No.
couldn't. Anyway, I couldn't believe Doc came out with that antiquated slow lineup. I just could not believe it. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he did it
Why not
for
play Jackson?
2 or 3 games in a row. I
And that's
just
what I
don't
said
get
about
it.
Jackson the whole time. I don't know if Jackson like said something and we just don't know about it because all of a sudden they did.
Jackson was not helping his team. All Jackson does is allow somebody else to get double or triple team. Oh, he got the rebound, but guess what? Once they get the offense, he is causing your stars and everybody else who could possibly score to get double team. Jackson is a liability.
You could
Because
say
they
the
leave him
same.
alone.
Is the same? They're the same player.
Who?
You
You
broke
could
up.
say the same thing with Jericho. They're the same player.
For sure, but
Oh,
Jericho's a
Ajax,
center, so Jericho will get a ball and dunk it. For sure. He is good pick. I mean, he set some of the strongest screens on the court, and then he rolls to the bucket, and him and what's the guy that Porter, they had a good high-low game going on for a minute. No, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing because Jackson will trick a dunk, trick a layup, and yeah, he'll grab the rebound on the other side, but he's useless. He's a liability.
I'm gonna say next. So does who, Kendrick? Who else does the exact same thing? You just
Thanasis.
no, who's on the teams? I need to be that specific. Kuzma, the other guy who got his minutes, does the same things you just described.
Right, but Kuzma does provide a little bit more. He has the height and he plays defense on a
They're a
taller
super
person.
similar player.
I think
Oh,
Kuzma.
I agree.
But I think
agree.
Kuzma choked.
First playoffs in NBA history.
Kuzma did joke. Yes.
I think. Look, if you've ever played ball, and if you play ball with somebody who's better than you, who's like, I mean, I go back. This is always kind of the Rue thing for me, Jay. But like, where you're all of a sudden relegated to sort of being a cutter and sort of having to make plays and wanting to, you're better being kinetic in the open floor. Again, I think the Kuzma stuff was in variance. He's better. He's more skilled at that stuff than Ajax, but the comparison is spot on as far as.
For sure. But he is better. He played terribly, but he is better.
We put Connington in there at a certain
Connington
point.
is better than Jackson.
What he didn't do anything
But
in the
see,
playoffs.
I wasn't watching the Bucks then. I wasn't watching those
sick
Ajax.
of the Jackson talk. I'm sick of people clamoring for this dude if it's not a trash game. Jackson is not worth begging for. Like,
I'm not
oh
begging.
my God, look how
I'm not begging for him. I'm just
changed.
curious. I'm
Such
just
a
curious if we're saying
change
we're
on the
getting out
team.
hustled. If you're
Yeah.
getting out hustled by Indiana, and I agree with you that they're faster and they want it more. I was just curious
would
if he
have
could have given
scored-
you something.
We would have scored even less.
But see,
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You put him out there, he'd have got more rebounds. We would have scored even less.
But the fact that Connington got minutes when we know we were not going to play Connington at all meant you were just seeing if something would stick. And you didn't try this. That's, I guess, my
He
biggest
played
thing.
Connington for Giannis.
Like these other dudes, but you were you were gambling. You were trying a bunch of stuff because nothing was working. And you didn't pull Ajax out, who was, at the time of the Kuzma trade, based on the numbers I believe Cribs supplied, our number 2 defender.
He played Connington. I think he played Connington for Giannis. And I wonder if Giannis just doesn't like playing with Jackson.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's like I started this. I don't know if Ajax said something.
I don't understand how you guys don't see it.
which part?
No, I hear what you're saying, Ken, but I'm just asking, when you're getting out hustled and this guy's supposed to be an energizer, why wouldn't you give him some run?
Wait,
I
Kendrick,
don't-
you don't see how
I just don't attribute him to being that much of a
okay.
change agent on the team. Putting him on the floor is not going to do anything. It's going to make it worse. You think grabbing a few more rebounds is going to make it better?
It does. 100%. You know how many times they finally missed a shot because our defense was so bad and they still got a second look?
Second,
Like literally
third look.
go back the other way because they kept getting the rebounds even after they would miss. And we would barely ever get them to miss. You have to
Okay.
shore up the rebound. It's like one of the biggest. I don't know, Ben, I don't know if you feel the same way, right? The biggest gut punch is when you just worked your butt off on defense and you had a good defense set and they shot late and they missed it and then they reset it and you're back to square one. It's like literally a gut punch in boxing where it's like, I got to do this again. If he takes it to me now, I don't have the steam because I just gave up everything.
Right.
You need somebody to actually clear.
Yeah, if Jackson played, we would have lost
Shout
there
out
too.
Me for Grant to Grant.
I'm not saying that they have a lineup that can compete with Indiana. I'm just saying that if you're struggling to try to figure something out, he's a guy that I'm surprised he didn't throw in the mix. That's all. And again, I'm not saying he would have played 10 minutes.
I think
Just see what he does.
I'll get you in 2 minutes. I guess, Kendrick, to your point, in 2 minutes, you would have known whether this was, experiment was bad. You should have yanked him.
Time out. Get him out. You can't do it.
but
I think Bug. I mean, he screwed himself. Doc, you've seen your greatest defensive trio was Giannis, Gary Trent, and AJ Green on the floor. Those stats were screaming at us the second half of the season. Those lineups provided them the best defensive rating, and then you bring out Lopez, Prince, and Kuzma. You've seen Kuzma was tricking, and it took him forever. We went through 2 games of that lineup of him getting big minutes before he finally started playing him less. I just think he made poor decisions, and by delaying those decisions, by delaying those pulls, and by the time he put those guys in, it was just too late. And then they tricked that last game. Man,
Yeah.
I
We
still
all knew this before the playoffs started. So why didn't the head coach?
right.
100% right. I just got to say.
Do you fire him? Do you fire him? if you're the
No,
Bucks?
it has nothing to do with Doc.
Absolutely.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It might. Here's the thing. It might not have anything to do with him this year. Like we all are pointing the finger at him, but next year it definitely could. Do you think Doc, if he doesn't screw it up, still doesn't screw it up a different way next year? Is really the question. It's not whether he deserves to be fired for what happened this year.
Dude, I don't know what you're thinking next year is going to be.
Jason Kidd was right.
Next year's going to be the same thing.
They will not be as good next year. They'll be a play-in team next year.
Probably.
Well, why was Jason Kidd right?
It goes back to coaching.
Yeah.
What team is better? Do you think Lopez starting is better or worse?
Lopez won't be back next year.
They got to
Doesn't
get rid of
matter.
Lopez.
I want to know why. I want to know why Jason Kidd was right.
Didn't think he was that great of a coach. Still don't think he's that great. He's clearly an NBA jobber. He had a lot of respect amongst players in that era. But I'm trying to summarize this because we said this is going to be an hour.
Coach or Doc?
Well, here's what I'm saying. Budenholzer, and again, we would all take this again. Budenholzer came in. Kidd was like, you guys suck. You're not trying. Energy and effort. What is this? The effort is sporadic. I'm going to play you a lot of minutes. He was stuck in the 90s and the 2000s with this thinking. But Jason Kidd was like the drill sergeant coach. And Budenholzer was like, came in and was like, hey, the nerds have figured this out. We don't really need to play defense. We're going to score 140 points. And for one, people were mad. People were so mad because when Brogdon was in the game, we were only +8. But when everybody else was all the other lineups were plus 17, we were just destroying the league, right? And we took the foot off the gas, or we could have scored won 65 games. And it was just the heyday of we were like the 1999 Rams. People hadn't figured it out yet. And we had this whole thing. And ever since then, it was hey, man, go ahead and block people from behind. Try not to get hurt when you do this. But it's we got a system. We're now a system team. And obviously it paid off great in 2021. But ever since then, it was hey, the regular season doesn't matter the same. And we got this thing figured out. And if it wasn't for Bryn Forbes, I don't think we beat the Heat. Because honestly, Gary Trent was Bryn Forbes, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
And it's
One game.
And he had two games like that.
Insane, right? Which is what Lillard should have been doing. And again, I don't want to go on a big thing about this, but I just think the taskmaster coach was right. And you can like do a couple of years of that and find another guy. But just the laissez flair check, like how many teams has Doc River coached for at this point? Right? He's failed way more than he succeeded. And I don't even mean like titles. I just mean like coaching on a high level. And so I would see what Giannis wants to do. And if Giannis just wants to like live in this fantasy where it's like steps of success, and then every time he gets eliminated, he says something really like with the 100% approval rating, like it's cool, man. But like whatever Giannis wants. But if he wants a real coach, get Malone, get Spoelstra if they fire him, get like a real coach. But he's ready for the Spoelstra coach. Like they tuned out
They'll never
Spoelstra.
fire Spoelstra.
I'm just saying, like
They're not going to fire him.
We got.
I don't want Mike Malone either. Mike Malone doesn't do nothing.
I don't either. No,
he doesn't do nothing for. He does. He's no different than what you have with Doc.
Exactly.
He's not a. What does he do?
There's a Butenholzer Doc River side of the street, and there's a Adrian Griffin, Jason Kidd side of the street, and maybe we could not be on any of those sides of streets and be on just an excellent coach, like a Popovich, right? Like
you want what's his face that got fired from Memphis?
Hit Pop with the defibrillator, right?
I would take him.
Taylor
Jenkins, yeah, definitely.
I'm ready for
he's a Bud disciple.
I'm ready for a top 5 coach. So yes,
I like what he did with that team.
All right, my final thoughts before we get into Andor. It's just going to be a quick statement. The winner of the Kyle Kuzma trade is actually Taurean Prince. Because for some reason he didn't even come up because of how bad Kuzma did. Usually, like they don't have to talk about what Prince did.
That's true
too. But you don't if you're going to talk about one, it's going to be how bad Kuzma did. That's all. My final statement.
Yeah, I agree with that because neither one of them turkeys did nothing. And to my final thoughts, if I can conclude about whether you fire Doc, I would say no. Because it's a super bad look on the organization. Like you can't make you make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and then he really didn't have that good of a roster, to work with. I thought he could have got more out of Dame and Giannis. I don't know what that problem is. I don't know how you don't figure that out. I don't know how some of his former coach friends aren't calling him up, going, "Dude, why aren't you?" Making them work on this pick and roll better, training Giannis how to set a I thought they got so little production out of that. All that was all year long was tag, you're it. Okay, it's your turn, your turn, your turn. They both are good individual scorers, but they never got that going.
The league escalated Dame's departure from the league when they changed all these. I'm hooking under your arm. I'm not calling that foul. And I don't know whether when they decided that decision, Dame was the poster boy where they showed that 50 times what Dame does to wipe it away. Because other players do that stuff and get it like 50% of the time. They just said, we never give that to Dame Lillard again. And because of that, his 92% free throw shooting gets completely undervalued. And he barely has like 2 moves now.
But the thing with that too, Jay, and I don't think I've never heard anybody say this. I think psychologically we have to say too that probably with Dame, it's like when me and you used to play or people used to play. There is something about, hey, it's just me and CJ against the world. We are going to be the Chuckasauruses, or it's me and Gary Trent against the world. And it's like, hey, man, we are just like, we're just letting it fly all game with another guard.
Win anyways, because it's like, well, if I don't shoot 53s, I know we're going to lose anyway. So I have a freeness of I'm not screwing up.
Yeah, me and my boy, we're way beyond the 3-point line, just taking turns and doing stuff. And that's not the same.
That's not the same as
this.
Small stuff and being actually a favorite to win.
I was thinking about, we don't have time for this, so I'll just say I was thinking about, and it's a bad comparison too, but how much Marbury screwed over Garnett by leaving when they would have been like a perfect fit. And in a way, Jabari did that for us because like the version that Jabari was supposed to be would have been perfect for all of this. And you could have just had a pretty good Cassell kind of point guard and done a lot of damage, but it was just one guy, and that's kind of what it was. Crib, final thoughts on the Bucks. We don't have time to get into would 100 Giannis beat a gorilla, which I say yes, but I think 50 Giannis take out a gorilla.
There's nothing about what the Bucks have done over the last 2.5 years that I think you could change or do differently. Besides maybe the Adrian Griffin hiring, that's maybe something you could go back and change. This is what the Bucks were going to do this year in the playoffs. I think we knew that from the beginning of the season. I mean, what did they start? What was their record that they started at? This is not
2-7, 2-8, something like that.
Yeah,
2-8.
This is what they are. This is what they are. Giannis is a fantastic player. He relies on his athletic ability. He's not exactly a high IQ basketball player.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Right. He likes to play freestyle. He likes to freestyle. He likes to see what he can do and what he can't do against the guy because he can physically beat just about anybody off the dribble. I think Dame is a systematic player, and I agree with what Jay said about what Dame. Like, he's just not effective anymore. But you would make that trade going back, whenever that trade was made last year, you'd make that trade probably 9 out of 10 times. Everybody in here was excited to see Dame come to Milwaukee.
No, not everyone, sir.
You'll make that trade 9 out of 10 times if
I wouldn't have made that trade.
I said 9 out of 10. I didn't say 10 out of 10.
You said everyone here was happy about it. I was disappointed and
I was upset to see Drew go. I think we all would have loved to
I never wanted Damian Lillard.
Drew might have retired. That was the thing. He was talking mad reckless about that.
And he's going to get traded this offseason too. You know what I mean?
Boston's got to cut a lot of people.
Yeah, his effectiveness in Boston has also. So I think you throw that out there. You make that trade. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't help that Dame ended up not being the guy you thought he was. I don't think there's anything Doc could have done differently with those guys. Dame's just not effective. He doesn't move off the ball. He's not Steph Curry. He's just not effective. He's just not effective, and he doesn't play defense the way that you want him to play defense. So nothing about what they've done over the last 2 years surprises me. It's unfortunate that you're wasting a freak athlete like Giannis, but I also don't see where there's a better place for Giannis to go at this point in his career. So the whole trade talk is super annoying now. I'm
not engaging in that personally. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not either.
Just want Giannis out. Like,
I just don't see it.
When it looked like Denver was going to lose, no one was saying Joker needs to get out. Like,
no one does it to anybody. No one said that Dirk wasted his final 5-6 years of his
And what
career.
did Dirk win? One chip there?
One chip.
Yeah.
One chip. Giannis brought a chip here.
I seriously, I don't understand why they do that.
He made a whole nother finals that Giannis will never do. But yeah, one chip. Yeah.
I do think the Bucks will have some dark years here. Kind of
like just got to start drafting better. I mean, they
don't have anybody they don't have any picks to draft with, but
I mean,
they'll be fine. I mean, they'll be competitive. You have Giannis,
we need to start playing
but
winning basketball. Like,
correct.
Like, if not, we're always like we're all checking our phones. I think looking at the Warriors game a little bit. And
I'm watching the game.
I'm watching it right here.
3 in the third.
Yeah, whether they win or lose, if they're a whole team, they took it 7, right? They don't have home court. They're taking it 7, and I imagine, and like Curry chokes sometimes
because they play smart basketball.
I imagine it's kind of important.
Seeing Curry play, seeing Halliburton play, seeing Chris Paul play.
Halliburton is trash.
He's
not in. Do not put his name in the same place as Steph Curry.
But you just said Paul.
Let me finish, and then you'll see my thoughts. It just makes me.
He's like,
we have no. Okay, so my Curry was my direct comparison to Dame. Like,
sure,
if Dame could do some of those things, keep moving. Like, stop waiting for them to throw you the ball back. That's the most disappointing thing. Well, no, his crap defense most of the year. He had a good game or two, and I think he played one good playoff round.
Game 4.
Game 3, I think.
Yeah,
that was really good. And I was like, who is this person? Okay, so he can do it. But if he would just move around and be more dynamic, make those guys run around and chase him, just that would be more appealing to me for Dame. That was my comparison. But seeing
He's also a bad passer.
he's a terrible he gets a couple assists, and people think, oh, he's a bad point guard.
Dude,
He's not a good point guard.
That
He's
guy's
just a shooter.
That guy's dead. Like you were right you get to be right for the last 2 years. He'll come back in a year or not. Like it's over now. Like I mean, it's not even worth
Yeah.
112. It's over now. There's no point even talking about it, man. Like that dude is over, man.
Kendrick, you were ahead of the Dame being trash before I was. You were 100% right.
100%.
He's fools.
But you were wrong about Middleton. Right about Dame.
Wrong about Middleton.
Yeah.
Middleton
I wasn't
also
wrong about
trash.
Middleton played in more playoff games than Giannis. You guys aware of that?
All right.
He played in more than Giannis because of injuries. Because of injuries.
Yeah.
Because of injuries.
He's so injury prone. He's this. Middleton was that. I mean, you guys, we begged for a third player. The regular season.
We never had one.
Anyway,
Warriors up.
I'm done with that. Were you talking about Andor now?
They just went up 6. I just want to say Bucks. Game 1, Black loss. Game 2, Black loss. Game 3, Green win. Game 4, Black loss. Game 5, Black loss. Andor.
I was safe. I was careful all the way.
I know. I had you followed. Party has insisted.
How long can I stay?
An hour.
Are you kidding? Do you think they're really watching Edie's apartment?
No, but we've put too much in now to have it go wrong for something so small.
An hour?
Turn out the lights.
Turn them off! Can't believe you had me followed.
Turn out the lights.
Tonight I'm in a sexy mood. Ooh, baby. Light a candle.
Andor, Crib. We'll let Crib start.
Everyone's seen all 6 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Spoiler talk engaged.
I'm enjoying it. It's good. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. It's fun to see the Star Wars world without lightsabers and the Force.
It goes.
Well, there's some interesting pieces. I think there's some interesting stuff that they're going to have to tie in here. Like you yet to see his droid show up. What's his name? One of my favorite droids too in Star Wars. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, K2.
K2SO. Yeah.
Oh,
so that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah. That's
So let's see what happens with
BB-8's a different.
The what's his name's character, the half robot guy that saved Jyn Erso. Saw Gerrera. Like it'd be interesting to see how he ends up being like half mechanical or whatever that he was.
Well, isn't it to do with that gas they were mining for?
They're just
smoking
in that gas, man.
I like that he's like a psychopath kind of like I mean I like where it is. I like what it's about. I mean I know Ken will probably say it's too slow, and he's not necessarily incorrect on that. I also really appreciate what they're doing now, where they're like going like the 3 episodes at a time. I think that's really cool. I like that a lot. So I'm happy with it. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I think that's where I'm at. 8 out of 10.
Kendrick. Thoughts?
It took 5 episodes, and not 5, but 4.5 episodes before they really even started doing anything. I mean, I was so annoyed with, a couple of those. It was just, it just felt like such filler, such fluff. Him in the woods. Anyway,
Him in the woods is the part that I'm like, okay, you had to tell a narrative, but you had to show your titular character, because otherwise, yeah, you could have cut that filler, just had him steal the thing and be up out of there. It didn't really.
yeah, it was just.
It was
giving
cool. He
me-
was at Yavin 4, though. I mean, that was kind of
They
cool. He was
tie
on
back
Yavin 4.
Hey,
on that force, but it's
Yeah, I seen he insisted that he be from Yavin 4 because that was filmed in Guatemala and that's where he's from.
Hey, so it's after dark. Don't say anything too crazy. Don't say anything too crazy. It's just the fellas here. It's just us.
I'm not saying I know. I ain't saying nothing.
that opening scene.
If anybody asks later.
that opening scene. What was up with that? Why did they do that?
What are you saying?
Stop recording.
Tell me. I need you to be more explicit
Dude,
a little bit. I don't know what you're talking about.
If it has anything to do with the uniform fit, like don't.
All right, fine. That was odd though, right? It was like it was a very body positive intro, I'll say, and it seemed like I think they thought they wanted to add some body positivity to the Andor intro, and I think the low angle of the camera kind of conveyed something else. But I don't want to talk about that. Kendrick, you were kind of low key complaining because like on the chat there's like spoilers, and I don't know if Kirkham's really in real time or I don't really know, so we don't really talk about it.
Oh, I see.
I
didn't spoil too much, did I?
No, I don't mean that. I just mean we don't talk about it because at least a couple of days.
If we say something, it's vague, and you couldn't possibly really look into whatever it is. Yeah, to this point.
Yeah, well, I'm unemployed, so I can watch whenever, and I try to wait for you guys and not say nothing.
I thought the first 3 were better than the second 3, and I think it's all not quite as good as the first season, but I'm assuming it's gonna finish strong. I just could not be more happy with like her kind of Lothario husband. I think we talked about this last season. I just like all those scenes where I'm just not sure if there's something else. So, like I was completely.
You talking about Mon Mothma?
Yeah, like Perrin, I think like all that stuff was great. Like all those scenes are really, really interesting, and it's kind of this thing like where the guy comes in and he gets like walked out, kind of like Fredo, but it was also like, is he threatening her? Is he trying to get a relationship? Is it kind of both? If she'd have kind of, so actually what I think, the one take that I have, so episode 6 ends and Luthen is like, my organization is falling apart a little bit because everybody is like, we're all going to die and we're not happy basically, but we're not happy while we're all like ready to sacrifice ourselves. Right. And so he gives Andor and Bix basically something to kind of strengthen them together. Right. And I think, but he was leaking on that before, but I think that kind of parallels that Mon Mothma didn't have to have a relationship with that banker dude, but basically wasn't managing her asset. And so like anytime like you go to somebody else's wedding, like even if they're not balling, you're like, look at this wedding, they're balling out, right? And so he visits and like Luthen would have basically either managed that. That's what he does with the other spy, with the mustache guy, right? He manages that asset. That's why he had to like take him in the elevator every once in a while to like talk it out with him. And so I thought that part was kind of cool, where it's like Mon Mothma doesn't really know how to navigate this world in the same kind of way, but it's like it's real subtle, and you could like go either way with it. But I like it's just a cliche. It's just the old guy cliche at this point. I like all the scenes where people are talking, and then the action is like whatever. So far,
okay.
Even in the prison stuff is like that. Last year, it's like every once in a while you get some really good action.
I thought that the acting was good. I just felt like it was, they just spent too much time with him when he went in the wilderness, and then it was just those things. It just didn't seem to develop much. Her getting on drugs, and and just. Oh, just so belabored about her. I understand you've been tortured, but like, okay, we're going to stretch that over a whole
Rub some dirt
Isn't
on.
So, you know,
isn't her issue bigger than that though?
it was from that torture thing on her
I
head.
think
That's,
that her issue now is kind of shifting to, are we becoming the thing that we've been fighting against? Because they're arbitrarily like killing people. And this last, I think it was the last episode where they talked, like where she woke up in the middle of the night and saw like the soldier or whatever. She had the gun or whatever. Like she was having a vision, and the soldier was like sitting at their living room table or their kitchen table.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I killed, he saw your face. And so that's why he had to die.
yeah.
Like,
that part. I was wondering what you were talking about.
yeah. So I think she's fighting a little bit of both of those things. Also, she was, whatever, assaulted by that that soldier. So like she's his weakness at this point, right? So that'll be a fascinating
she's got a lot
part
of
of the story.
PTSD and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so that he ends. I mean, his life ends when he's with what's her face on,
Urso.
yeah, and they're together, right? They're like a thing. They're hugging or kissing or however they end up dying. So it is kind of it'll be an interesting transition to see what happens to her as his, his significant other through this, or how he gets to Jyn Erso instead. Like the storytelling
a lot of people
is
gotta die before it's all over.
You were leading right in where I was going, which is, so the first season was much better. I think we all agree, but it's much better on the nature of the structure, which was a 3-story arc for each of them. Gave you some denouement of like, we triumphed, we super failed in every 3 episodes. So, and we don't have that this year. However, we got 12 episodes, and they haven't done a whole lot really, and they have to clean up a lot. Right. I don't know if y'all went and saw Revenge of the Sith. Here it is last week. But as I watched, I'm like, Order 66 might be the greatest scene that George Lucas has ever done. And we're really setting up for another everybody's got to go in a different way in the next 6 episodes. So I'm, like I said, I think we're at an 8. Agree with everything Ben said. The espionage of it all, and them talking through the nuance, and not treating the viewer like they're idiots. Like, we can't read subtext, right? We don't need to hear Luthen say, well, I guess I'll have to kill them. He just says, well, how do you then that you don't understand what I'm talking about? And then she gets lit and starts dancing at that party with that beatbox by Dre.
That was amazing.
I thought that was a good scene. I thought it was it was very subtle, made you think about it's great.
So
but they don't show dude getting taken out. It just shows that
they don't need to.
That one girlfriend fly off with him, right?
So
I'm like, okay, like dude's gone, right?
And you have this subtle like yin and yang thing happening with Zero and his need for male like appreciation or approval from what's his face, the Empire, his girlfriend's boss, whatever that dude is.
Yeah.
And then you have Andor's, he's got an old dude telling him what to do too, and Luthen's and his way of handling it. So it's kind of an interesting, you have 2 like parallel relationships happening with Zero and his girlfriend, and Andor and his girlfriend, and an old guy kind of pulling the string. So there's some interesting parallels that I think are kind of getting set up in the.
Are you talking about Cyril?
Cyril.
Okay. I thought you were saying Zero.
He said Zero.
Well, he is a Zero, but
yeah, that's probably where they got.
Yeah, it's definitely a Zero.
So the running joke,
and also Mom's involved in that too.
Yeah.
The running joke in my house, because of how he starts out Rogue One just shooting that guy in the back, is every time like Andor talks to somebody, and now he shoots her. He's like with the TIE fighter chick, and it's just like, no, you feel alive, you feel the passion, you are doing this, you are helping people. And then like we just and Harrison's like, and he shoots her, we're just like, and he shoots her in the back, right? Like everybody he runs into, he just charms and just shoots. But that hasn't happened so much. Forrest Whitaker.
So we all think.
Go ahead.
Let me get one Luthen take, because we touched on it at the wedding. I'm under the current belief, once again, I have not watched any spoilers. If they're talking about this online, this isn't coming from anything besides what I've observed. Do we think that Luthen's ultimate demise comes from this gangster that Mon Mothma brought in for currency? The dude that she just married into the family, because all of a sudden the one guy went disappearing as he was going to talk to that dude, and all of a sudden he's like hyping up fake artifacts, and now they need to do a mission to steal back a transmitter. And I'm not sure they got away with it the way they think they did. That's the only thing I'm saying, because like, what you're gonna expect all this stuff, but then you show it off.
Okay, so maybe my question, Jay, for you is, who do you think will live? We know certain characters will live. Of the ancillary characters that we haven't seen in Rogue One, who lives?
Andor.
No, I'm saying who we haven't seen in Rogue One.
I don't think any of them live in any meaningful way.
They
Like,
laid down
this-
Brasso to let us know that
Oh,
Because I do think that Luthen may live.
I don't.
if he's a Jedi.
He's yeah. Just I hope he like.
I hope he
want,
does.
I'm not.
I don't want.
Like I almost wish he had his own show. However, he is the tortured soul who's done too much, who understands that and he keeps like he's foreshadowing his demise because he knows he's turned himself into the monster he needs to be to fight the Empire.
Yeah, I think Luthen goes.
The speech that he gave last year when he was at that elevator was a pretty amazing. Yeah.
Oh man,
that
what
was
a great
best monologue
Yep.
that I've ever seen. You know, that's
I
what
think
made me like the show.
his
Yeah.
assistant. If you make me pick someone, his assistant probably survives.
See, I think one of those two will survive 100%.
I think they're both gone. Does that skinny dude that his spy survive? Skinny dude with the weird mustache.
That dude never survived.
Yeah.
the Emperor,
gone.
Double agent.
Which one? The dude
He's
who works for the
definitely
Empire?
gone, right?
His name is like Rusty or something like that. It's like
It's got to be.
yeah,
Bubba, they put Bubba in there.
right.
He way gone.
Kayla or Clayla, something. That's her
So
name.
What
so
are you talking about?
So similar question then with Cyril Dedra, because I think there was some subtlety with that where you start out and you're thinking, is he breaking good? And then you realize he's not breaking. He's happy to be a double, but then like it seems like Dedra is maybe going to sell him out and be the super bad of all of this. I mean, we saw her torture Bix earlier. Like,
Daedra Andor's sister, right? We have to have met Andor's sisters by this point. Otherwise, there's no point in that first episode.
I thought Luthen's assistant. I was saying that was his sister but
She doesn't exist.
You know what? I guess they said her parents were gone, Jay. I
Yep,
guess
that's
she
what I'm
said
saying.
and they called it like Kindercare or something, like Imperial Kinder or something like that.
Yep, it has to be her, right?
I don't think that character. I don't think that character
That's what it's gonna
resurfaces.
be.
Which
He's
one?
going to kill Deidre, and
Layla?
Deidre will be right.
Or
And that's
Deidre?
what the Rogue One is
Dedra?
talking about: torture and punishment, having to do things that you don't even understand. That makes more sense.
I don't think Andor's sister comes back. I think that there's no reason to write it in now. There's too many other things happening.
If that happens, there's a point to it. Either Disney made them do it, or there's a point, because I don't think that's the kind of story they would normally tell.
No,
But
I agree.
But I don't know anything about Dostoevsky, but I have heard that, like, because all these people are like, this is just like, the past 2 years or whatever. And I've heard this is like basically War and Peace and all these other kind of things is basically about the Russian Revolution as much as anything else. But, they can pick and choose from all of that. But I do think she's going to sell him out. Maybe I can't see him being, I can't see Cyril at this point. He just loves Dedra too much. He just loves the idea of being with Dedra, and he just loves his life. He's like, this is the greatest day of my life. Like, I can't imagine.
And he doesn't have he has no.
He wasn't happy about her. He wasn't happy
dumb.
about her. He was happy that another man said he did a good job.
But his
Pretty much.
Okay,
yeah. He deals in black and white.
Yeah.
And she doesn't see it that way. He's getting used by her. Like he's gonna have a problem with them not probably actually ransacking the ship and letting them steal that stuff, even if it fits a bigger narrative that you let the small fish to get go away to get the bigger fish. I think he's gonna have a problem with that in the next couple episodes. He got all mad about that one thing. That's how this set him on his path. Like he wouldn't drop it over what seemed like a small thing to most of the people he worked with.
But it's the crazy line that they're walking now. I mean, this has always been the case, right? But I guess there's a difference between a dozen episodes and 24 episodes or whatever it is. But like, so if Daedra, yeah, I forgot that part about her not knowing her parents. So she's basically being, she's basically Hitler Youth or whatever. But like,
Right.
but they really are depicting terrorism. Like, it's sort of rebellion, but like over the course of, they're depicting terrorist acts like every episode, right? And it's super well done and interesting, but they are walking that line, which is why I think to balance that, so many of these characters are going to die in interesting ways. Forrest Whitaker is the Black Benicio del Toro. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, he's doing some wild stuff, man. Like, it's like he's like, his agent is like, I got this job for you. And he's like, can I do wild stuff? If so, yes. If not, no. Because
He's talking so incoherently. I didn't want to turn on closed caption. I'm like, I'm pretty sure what he's saying just doesn't make sense. It's not that I
right, like, I get it, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm like, oh wow, right? It's just like,
I mean, they
He's
end up,
always
you know,
done
there
that a
ends
little
up being
bit.
this whole thing
Yeah.
between him and Mon Mothma, and the way that they go about handling the rebellion, and how he's more militant versus she's more trying to be diplomatic, and her hand gets forced versus wanting to start a revolution, so
Did you
Well, in the
guys?
end, Borg Gullet knows the truth.
poor guy knows the truth. All right. Anything that was pretty good. I could talk about that for another hour, but currently it's Warrior 75. What is it? Warrior
75,
75.
68.
68.
75, 68.
All right, bet.
So, did you watch Rebels? I guess Rebels, season 3, episode 18, follows the events of this season.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it in context then.
Yeah.
I'm reading it. There's a book out there. It's
Last question. Who dies next in Andor?
Ooh,
Bix.
that's a good one.
I'm saying
And then-
it's
Oh, so this is 7 through 9, right?
what's Mom Atha's sister or cousin name?
I think that's her sister.
Leia
it's her
is
cousin.
No,
It's
it's
her
the
cousin.
other one. Right.
Oh, is it a cousin?
Bell. It was
Val.
Bell.
Val.
He's gone.
Yeah.
You lost
think
who she
that?
cared about.
I think it'll
Oh,
be Bix.
Yeah.
Because
she
then you'll
lost
have
it.
Andor just be on all the craziest missions ever because he'll be so angry.
I don't think
Maybe.
so.
But what is
I
her
think-
arc, right? Like, so what's been so dope about this, and we said this season 1, is like the girl bossery is turned down to like 2. It's like you got characters, some of them can fly planes, some of them can shoot, some of them do tactics, but it's not like this crazy, everybody's 180-pound ninja.
Yeah.
But I don't, what's the Bix arc, right? Like, she's Luthen's original contact in season 1, right? She gets tortured, like a bunch of stuff happens, she gets assaulted, and then she becomes kind of a junkie. Does she come out of it and get some other vision? Like just from
I
an
think
arc,
she
from an
comes
arc
out of
perspective.
it. She comes out of it, and they wind up doing a mission separately, and she dies.
Oh, goodness. What if Andor has to take her out because she just can't be trusted?
I wasn't sure
She
Luthen
gets
wasn't going to take her
completely
out.
drunk
I wasn't sure
addicted.
Luthen wasn't going to take her out when he
Yeah,
it's
sure
like-
looked like Luther was.
What is it like? Girl,
and that's
you
why he's like, "Yo,
distracted
you
me
don't
from-
visit my
from the
girl
car."
without me." You know, it's like,
Right.
He's like, oh, how about this?
Right.
yeah.
That visit was strange, though. I'm like, oh snap! Is dude finna take her out because she weak?
Andor ain't wrong. He's like, you sent me on a mission and showed up back at my apartment, and we were in the car together for 3 hours, had nothing to talk about. You didn't bring this up?
He was-
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that was great. All right, let's cut it because I want to watch the last 6 minutes of this Warriors game.
All right.
All right, sounds good.